Hello guys, how are things progressing? So, this here is a chapter from class 6 of NCRT Polity, that's rural livelihoods. Okay, so in this chapter, we will discuss about the different jobs the people are doing in rural areas. It's a short chapter and mainly dealing with the working, the different kinds of works by the people. So uh, first a village called Kalpat village in Tamil Nadu is given, and a explanation is given about that village. The Kalpat is a village that is close to the sea coast in Tamil Nadu. People here do many kinds of work, making baskets, utensils, pots, bricks, ballo carts. So there are people who provide services such as blacksmiths, nurses, teachers, washermen, weavers, barbers, cycle repair mechanics, and so on. There are also some shopkeepers and traders. So various kinds of works are people doing. There are some people who go to the nearby town to work as construction workers and lorry drivers also. The village is surrounded by low hills. Paddy is the main crop that is grown in irrigated lands. Most of the families earn living through agriculture. Some of the persons' names also given here and their lives, and they are explaining how they are living, in what they are working, and and what is the role in their agriculture, etc. A variety of small shops such as tea shops, grocery shops, barber shops, a cloth shop, a tailor, and two fertilizer and seed shops are there in this village. And also, Uh, we know the poor families in rural areas often spend a lot of time every day collecting firewood, getting water, and grazing their cattle. We know in most of the rural areas there is no much LPG connection or fuel LPG pipe connection, etc. So most of them depend on firewood for making food, and they are engaged in works related with grazing cattle, irrigating agricultural fields, and other types of agricultural activities practices like that. Even though they do not earn any money from these activities, they have to do them for the household. So even though the income that they get from those agricultural practices are very less, they have to involved in that is they have to permanently involved in such activities in order to run their families or household for their household. uh, so the families need to spend time doing this, as they are not able to survive on the little money they earn. Nearly two-fifths of all rural families are agricultural laborers in our country. In India, there are nearly two-fifths of all rural families are engaged in agricultural. Families are agricultural laborers, and there are some who have small plots of land, while others are landless. So in rural areas some of the people are landless, so that they cannot work in lands in their own lands, but some farmers have their own land, small plots of lands, so they can work as their own, and get some beneficiaries from them. And not being able to earn money throughout the year forces people in many rural areas to travel long distances in search of work. This travel or migration takes place during particular seasons. Okay, so in India, crore of people. Sorry, there are millions of people are migratory workers. In certain seasons, they migrate from one state to another, in search of work, because in their own local or rural areas there is not much work for them, so that they are migrating towards another cities or another areas, and they work in, and they are doing certain works in industries and small scale manufacturing units, even in large scale units like that, based on their experiences and educational qualifications, etc. Mostly experiences for rural people. Then, on being in debt. Okay. Next section. Very often farmers borrow money to purchase basic things like seeds, fertilizers and pesticides. So mostly we know for agricultural practices, the farmers need pesticides and fertilizers and pesticides. So often they borrow this money from money lenders. So now to buy those pesticides and fertilizers, they borrow money from money lenders. If the seeds are not of good quality or pest attack their crop, there can be a major crop failure. Okay. If the seeds are not of the good quality or there is a pest attack, for example, the locust attack in northern areas like Rajasthan, Maharashtra, etc., we have seen in recent newses. So, that like pest attacks may bring a crop failure for farmers, and the crops can also be ruined if the monsoon does not bring enough rain. So if the areas does not get much enough rain in monsoon seasons or any other seasons for the agricultural lands, then the land get dried and plant get destroyed. The benefit from those farming should be very less then. When this happens, the farmers sometimes are unable to pay back their loans. So during these types of monsoon less seasons, the farmers get unable to pay back their loans to that money lenders, and for the family to survive they may even have to borrow more money. Soon the loan becomes so large that no matter what they earn, they are unable to repay. So in most cases, the farmers who loan a lot of money from the money lenders, and a lot of interest is imposed on them, and then they get unable to repay the money then, due to crop failure and that bad situations like that. This is when we can say they are caught in debt. So this is the situation. We can say that they are in debt. In recent years, this has become a major cause of distress among farmers in some areas. This has also resulted in many farmers committing suicide. So these types of adversities can lead these farmers to committing suicides also. Then a column is here about terrace farming in Nagaland. The people of this village do terrace cultivation. The land on a hill slope is made into flat plots and carved out in steps. So why is why we uh, why we perform terrace cultivation? That is in a manner that the land on a hill slope is made into flat plots and carved out in steps. The sides of each plot are raised in order to retain water. This allows water to stand in the field, which is best for rice cultivation. So in the Nagaland, this type of terrace farming is there in some of the hilly areas there. The people of Chisami have their own individual fields, but they also work collectively in each other's fields. They form groups or six or eight. They form groups of 6 or 8 and then take an entire mountainside to clean the weeds on it. Each group eats together once their work for the day is over. This goes on for several days until the work is completed. So mostly the people of Nagaland is a very working in a unite manner together, and even though each and every person have their own lands, they work in group and help in each other, and 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 they get a good benefit from that. Then comes agricultural laborers and farmers in India. In India, nearly 2 out of every 5 rural families are agricultural laborer families. Okay, in India, nearly 2 out of every 5 rural families are agricultural laborer families. All of them depend on the work they do on other people's fields to earn a living. So I said that mostly some of the people are landless people, so that they depend on other lands to work. Many of them are landless and others may own very small plots of land. The small farmers, mostly in India, 80% of farmers belong to this group. Okay, in India, 80% of farmers belong to small farmers group. Only 20% of India belongs to large farmer group. A large part of their produce is sold in the market. Okay. After harvesting, a large part of their produce is sold in the market. Many of them have started the other businesses such as shops, money lending, trading, small factories such as etc. So, a small land farmers or small farmers who sold their products in local level or in markets, but large farmers who may start businesses, shops, money lending, trading, factories like that. So that's large farmers can benefit a lot when compared with small farmers. Apart from farming, many people in rural areas depend upon collection from the forest, animal husbandry, dairy produce, fishing. So not only the farmers are not engaged in the agricultural practices, but also there is some animal husbandry, dairy produce, fishing, and collection from the forest, like that jobs are there. For example, in some villages in central India, both farming and collection from the forest are important sources of livelihood. So we know in central India there is a lot of forest areas are there, so that mostly the people are in doing with some of the jobs like collecting forest producers and other, and depending on other sources also for their livelihood. Similarly, selling milk to a village cooperative society or taking milk to the nearby town may be the main source of livelihood for some families. So some of the people who selling the milk by animal husbandry, like that dairy farming, and from that beneficiaries, they are running their lives. In the coastal areas, the people are fishermen, mostly fishermen are there, so that they are selling fishes in markets as well. Then the next is rural livelihoods. People in rural areas earn their living in various ways. Some work on farms while others earn their living uh, on non-farm activities. So in rural areas there are farm activities and non-farm activities are there. Working on farms involves operations such as preparing the land, sowing, weeding, and harvesting of crops. We depend on nature of growth of these crops. Hence, life revolves around certain seasons. So we know in case of agriculture, the seasons and climate conditions are important for the production of crops. If there is adverse effect or hazardous extreme events like storm urges, Amphan like storm we know, and tsunami, earthquake, or flood, then soil erosion, like that natural hazards are there, then major crops get destroyed, then it is adversely affecting the farmers. Then and the how people are able to survive or earn will depend upon the land that they cultivate. Many depend on these lands for work as laborers. Most farmers grow crops both for their own requirements and also to sell in the market. So the landless people who may work in others' plots, and the small farmers and large farmers may work in their own lands and may sell their agricultural goods to markets and get benefits from that. And some of the agricultural products are used to buy used for their own livelihoods, day to day lives, and also for income generating. Then some farmers can take part in trading so that they can sell their commodities in markets as also. For their survival, many families need to borrow money for their work or when no work is available. So if there is no work is available in a rural area, they have to go to other states or other areas as migrant workers, such as. Then there are some families in rural areas which thrive on large acres of lands, businesses, and other activities also. So some of the large families are there, who have a large acres of lands so that they can do some business and other activities. However, most small farmers, agriculture laborers, fishing families, crafts persons in the villages do not find enough work to keep them employed throughout the year. So mostly the small farmers are there, who are who are living like agricultural laborers, fishing men's, craft persons, etc. in the villages. So that's all about our chapter, friends. So then the last section, this some questions are there. You can go through it and think about all these key points and basically make out all the concepts of this chapter, each and every chapter. Okay, thank you, friends.